A reading from the Gospel of Matthew. After Jesus had fed the crowds, he dismissed them and asked the disciples to go back into their boat. He went up to a mountain to pray all by himself. The disciples were like in the middle of the Sea of Galilee when a storm erupted, and the winds and the waves were tossing their boat back and forth. They were very, very frightened. They looked out and they saw what they thought was a ghost. But then they heard Jesus' voice. He said, "Take courage, be not afraid, it is I." They said, "Whoa." Peter said, "Lord, if it's really you, please command that I come and join you." And Jesus said, "Come." And Peter goes out of the boat and starts walking on water. But the storm was very, very powerful, and Peter became afraid and took his eyes off Jesus and began to drown. He said, "Help, Lord, help, I'm drowning." And Jesus reached into the water and pulled him out and put him back in the boat and said, Peter, why do you have such little faith?" The other disciples marveled at Jesus and knew that this surely was the Son of God, the gospel of the Lord. You know, this is a perfect reading for these times, isn't it? We're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. Hey, that's a scary thing. We're doing all the right things. We're wearing masks. We're socially distancing. We're staying away from huge crowds. But still, it's an upside-down world. For our kids, children, you know, one thing you could always be sure of was that you were going to school in September and getting out in June. But even that's different now. You've left school in March, and maybe you'll have a couple of days in class, maybe you won't. That, along with your friends and your play dates and your sports and your activities, everything is topsy-turvy. For us adults, things aren't that much better, you know? Some of us are afraid about paying our bills, losing our jobs. Right at Holy Family Parish, we lost Elizabeth, our pastoral associate. Brilliant, beautiful, wonderful Elizabeth was laid off because of money. It's sad times, but you know what? We can count on God even during a pandemic. And Jesus tells us today in this gospel, be not afraid. You know, Peter, as soon as Peter becomes afraid, that's when he starts to drown. We don't have to be afraid because we have Jesus in our corner. You know, things might not be perfect, but we will get through it. Absolutely. Let's keep our eyes on Jesus this week. Let's stay healthy. Keep your mask on. Social distance. You know the drill. Bye-bye. God bless.